As President Trump's war with the media gets even more personal, the president is grappling with Senate Republicans who've missed a self-imposed deadline on health care. He's preparing for a stare-down this week with Russian President Vladimir Putin. But on Twitter, he's wrestling with us. Now it's showing up on the President of the United States' own Twitter feed. The early reactions in the last 90 minutes have ranged from, this is juvenile, ridiculous, idiotic. Oh wait, no, it's just funny. He's just having fun. Oh wait, no, it's actually scary, dangerous. Instead of preparing for his overseas trip, his first meeting with Vladimir Putin, dealing with North Korea, and working on his health care bill, he is instead involved in juvenile behavior far below the dignity of his office. The statement from CNN ends by saying, we will keep doing our jobs. He should start doing his.
If I may, I have to ask about this. Since you started the whole wrestling video thing, what are your thoughts about what has happened since then? I mean, CNN went after you and has threatened to expose the identity of a person they said was responsible for it. I'd like your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think what CNN did was unfortunate for them. As you know now, they have some pretty serious problems. They have been fake news for a long time.
Anna, your thoughts about the president's tweet. He retweeted again, the dishonest media, will never keep us from accomplishing our objectives on behalf of the great American people. The smackdown video of CNN and many who have come to the president's defense, including the congressman there, and other surrogates we had on earlier today, who say, have a sense of humor. And this is a good means of communication from this president. It's transparency. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I want to see how funny it's going to be when somebody ends up getting killed. When somebody ends up getting killed. When somebody ends up getting killed, or getting hurt, or getting punched, or getting injured. Look, there's people that might be able to take this as humorous. I certainly don't. And maybe it's because I know the kind of social media feedback and threats that I get, and that many other on CNN and many other of our colleagues in the media get on a daily basis. There may be some people who are capable of taking this as humor, but there are a lot of unstable people out there who do not take it as humor, who take it as a cult leader's call to action, call to arms, and this is not going to end well. We are only 6 months into this presidency, and my question is, how low can he go? Every time I ask myself that, he goes lower.
Reddit user who created the gif of, Donald Trump in the wrestling video and where he punches CNN. So the investigative team went back and found the guy who first created this. He took credit for it. And then here comes the remarkable part. He apologized. Mm-hmm. He apologized for having done this. He deleted it.
But why was it there in the first place?
Because, in his apology, he says, he thought that these things were sort of funny. He liked getting a rise out of people online.
They were so obvious.
He also went on to say that he had become addicted to the hate, addicted to the ginning up of people, because this is what happens. He has
a medical condition.
Honestly.
First, it's not just anti-CNN, it's anti-freedom of the press, it's anti-freedom of speech. It is a definitive statement by the President of the United States. And it also goes to the question that many military leaders in this questions are asked, questions raised by military leaders in this country now, by the intelligence community, by people in Congress, about the stability of the President of the United States. This is an index of his state of mind, visually. It's very disturbing. There's nothing lighthearted about it whatsoever. It is an incitement. It is definitive, as I say. Nexus of fake news in America is the Trump White House.
You've been covering me in a very dishonest way. Do you have that also, by the way, Mr. President? What CNN and others, NBC is equally as bad, despite the fact that I made them a fortune with The Apprentice, but they forgot that. But
And for the President of the United States, who is supposed to be unifying this country, on a July 4th, weakened, to be tweeting out incitement to violence. It is incitement to violence. Let us not parse words. Let us not call it by any other name. It is disgusting by this president. Yet one more disgusting act.
And wondering why the president has decided to physically pummel somebody with the CNN logo on his face. So it'd be interesting to get some reaction.
Nobody at CNN is scared. If anything, this is making each and every one of us more resolute, not to cower at the bullying of this president. This is a free press. This is a free country. This is a democracy. And if he thinks that with these little tricks, he's going to scare Jeff Zucker, he's going to scare anybody at CNN, he's got something different coming. We are resolute at continuing searching the truth, speaking the truth, and calling out right versus wrong.
And I'm sitting here.
They have got to stop. They have got to stand for democracy, for freedom of the press. This is just going way too far. The President of the United States is inciting violence against the free press. In America, we cannot stand for it.
His media attacks obviously have a corrosive effect, and we're seeing that in polls.
But is it a tool?
But I think the press is standing up for decency
deflect?
right now. Is he trying to deflect? Gosh.
Sometimes. Is he a master of obfuscation?
Sometimes. Look, the biggest mistake anybody makes when it comes to Donald Trump, the man, is questioning his intelligence. He is a very smart man. He is a master of media manipulation.
Oh, he's a better media person than any of us.
There's no question about it. So sometimes it is a distraction. Sometimes they're what I call a tactics. Where he knows that this will work well.
I will say that CNN has really taken it too seriously, and I think they've hurt themselves very badly, very, very badly. And what we want to see in the United States is honest, beautiful, free, but honest press. We want to see fair press. I think it's a very important thing. We don't want fake news. And by the way, not everybody is fake news, but we don't want fake news. Bad thing, very bad for our country.
To President Trump tweeting that smackdown of CNN. What do you think?
Look, you know, I think it was intended as a tongue-in-cheek satirical video, nothing serious, and it might have made some people in his base laugh. But I think one of the most effective things that President Trump could do to win over kind of those moderate, middle-of-the-road voters who, by the way, don't trust the media, which has the lowest approval rating in ever Gallup recorded history, the way to reach those people is with facts, is to point out that Friday night, the Associated Press had to roll back a story, and they did it conveniently right before everyone went off for the 4th of July weekend. They reported on a fake meeting between the EPA administrator and between Dow Chemical to try to make him look bad. That media never happened. They put out a clarification. They likewise put out another clarification on another story conveniently right before the holiday weekend. So I think using facts is the most effective way to bring this fight out.
We heard from Bossert, who said, you know, he's been beaten up sort of as justification. Why then can't the president beat up the media? Is that what we're saying?
Is he does have a right to fight back. Bossert is absolutely right to say that. He was called on one liberal show on MSNBC, the morning show. He was called a thug, a goon. He was called unbalanced. He was called not well before he ever sent out anything attacking them. Likewise, he was called Hitlerian by another host on MSNBC, and yet another host called for the assassination of his son-in-law, saying that President Trump should take a playbook from Mussolini. So when you have the press out there saying things like this, he has a right to fight back, and nothing he has said has been anywhere as harsh as being a Hitler comparison or being called for the assassination of his son-in-law, Jared Kushner.
Okay, so Sally, the right to fight back. He's beat up on, so, you know, this is the cue for him to respond. I mean, how do you see this from the President of the United States?
Let me make a point and then ask a question. So, I actually can't believe this is happening. Had President Obama gone to a veterans event, Kaylee, a veterans event, and used that event to attack the media, you'd be all over with anger about that.
And guess what? He got roaring applause. He got roaring applause for that, by the way.
Now it's my turn. So I can't believe you can defend this. I mean, really, is there no, so my question is there no line? Like, if that had been a picture not of the CNN logo or video not of the CNN logo, but it had been Jake Tapper's head he was punching, would that cross a line for you? What if it was a picture of Donald Trump holding a bloodied CNN logo up? When does it cross the line? When does he cross the line?
You appear to have a listening problem, Sally.
Bitch, get out the way. Get out the way, bitch. Get out the way.
Because I said it was not advisable for him to send that out.
And you defended it. And you defended it. You said it was just a joke.
I said it was not advisable. Yes, it was just a joke. And by the way, you should take an inward look because the Hollywood liberal elite are the ones calling for the assassination of the president. Johnny Depp said something along those lines. And Kathy Griffin held up the president's head. It's the Hollywood liberal elite and the media that need to take an inward look because I have not heard you.
I have condemned
Matthews.
That is
okay. What about Chris Matthews? What about Chris Matthews?
Okay, so wait a minute. So
it almost sounds like
so we're now having the conversation about.
How could I be so stupid? You played me. You played me. Wait a minute. All of this is a well-orchestrated plan.